Welcome to Master Manual, a practical guide for DMs, GMs, and just wanna BMs and other folks too. This is a podcast where we answer questions and talk about role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but mostly from the Dungeon Master perspective. I'm Spencer Crittenden.
That was mostly from a Dungeon Master perspective?
It's mostly from the couch in Dan's office in Starburns Audio.
I feel like it's been so long since we've been here.
It has, and it hasn't.
It's been a few days.
I've been here today.
Oh.
So, you know.
Well, I haven't.
Right.
But you have.
Right. Because I work here at Starburns. I'm here with my buddy.
Hey, I'm Cohen Edenfield.
Hell yeah. He is that, and I am Spencer. That is me.
Yeah. We do this thing.
Oh, yeah, and
it's
we
probably
love
not
it.
your first one, but if it is, maybe
Good luck.
Go to a different one.
Yeah,
no, we're going to have fun. Let's do it.
It's a real crapshoot anyway. Roll a D20 and go to the episode.
It's a real, you might say it's a real roll of the dice.
A roll of the D20.
Yeah. Okay. So what have you been up to in the last couple of days?
I went to Harmontown.
Cool.
I went on down. Didn't play D&D.
Becoming a real theme.
It's like a fun football that's getting pulled away. It's I keep thinking it'll happen.
So, but after we recorded last time, we played what is that game called?
Keyforge.
Yeah, you bought a lot of it. And
yep, I bought some Keyforge decks. We played some Keyforge. It's made by the Richard Garfield, the guy who made Magic. It's a lot like Magic, but different.
Fantasy Flight Games, right?
Fantasy Flight Games is his company.
It's good. It's a good game. I enjoyed it a lot. The hook, right, is the idea is that you don't buy booster packs. You just buy these randomized decks that are sealed, and then that deck can only be played as that deck.
Right. You can't swap cards, so it's not a deck building game. It's a deck buying game.
Yeah, that's definitely a feature of it.
Or a deck borrowing from your friend's game, because I have 8 decks and I bought 30 more.
You did.
And anyone that wants to play me will never have to provide their own decks, because I'm more than happy to provide my own. But, you know, if you do want to collect, you will buy 38 decks like me or something. And who knows?
And so this was something that I've been realizing, because I've been playing Magic some, and I've sort of been I had been hitting a wall, because I sort of realized that deck building does not really appeal to me, because I don't know if it's that it's overwhelming or it's the cost. I like to play with decks. I like to buy pre-made decks,
right, or
play with your decks, because you have like hundreds. You got all these decks from years and years.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why it is. I just don't. I think I get choice paralysis, but this game is sort of perfect.
Right.
And that it is perfect for me, because I get to just play with the decks.
It's the perfect game.
It definitely sounds like at this point I become concerned that it sounds like I'm saying play with dicks, buy the dicks, tons of dicks, dick building.
It's the perfect dick making game.
There we go. Okay, so now
you can't actually build the dicks, though. They come pre-assembled in a randomized fashion. The dicks are procedurally generated and have fun titles like Alicia, compadre of the peaceful beach, or other random weird shit.
So it's like every deck is 36 cards. It'll have 12 each from three different
factions, which are like colors.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of different ones, and they're like themed around like aliens or like
thieves,
tough warriors, or shadowy thieves, or psychic overlords. It's fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's like Magic. You know what? It's almost as fun as stabbing each other with swords.
Oh, do we? Okay, so
do you want to kill each other instead of continuing the podcast?
Oh, do you want?
As in our blood pact?
Did you want to open this box?
Oh, what are you talking about?
We received another box.
Oh, did we? From who?
This is from Jason.
Jason?
Yes.
Oh no,
Jason
Derulo?
Yeah.
I think that guy's bad now.
Different Jason. It's Magnatag.
It's a Magnatag guy sent us Magnatag
I would describe it as it's kind of like laser tag, but you can use like dart guns or swords. And he sent us some of these chest harness things, and also some foam swords.
Oh
and some
no!
darts.
How are we supposed to kill each other with these?
I like this is fun. They're branded Magnatag on the sword. So I guess I'm just opening the box now.
Got some sashes, some targets that you contact targets so that when you hit someone with a sword or a fireball, they get plinged or some such.
Yeah, you could use this for LARPing or
and foam swords.
All kinds of stuff. I guess we will use them and then report back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how lethal it is, so my enthusiasm has diminished greatly.
Well, I mean, you're going to die eventually, just over time.
Yeah. But
I don't think these are going to accidentally render you immortal, so no
most
worries.
of my activities already take that into account. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Oh, yeah.
They're trying to grind away at the clock.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Jason. We'll hit each other and see what happens.
We'll see what the Magnatag asynchronous combat-based game
You
is
gain
like.
disadvantage to having fun with friends.
No, you can't. No, it's advantage.
Thanks to Magnatag.
Yeah. Also, if you wanna send us some stuff, just like email.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see. And we'll definitely, definitely in this early stage where we're still hungry for content and we're not yet like high lords on the hill, spurning gifts. We will definitely talk about whatever is sent to us.
Oh, yeah. What else do we got to do? I mean, we just already burned 6 minutes, you know?
Oh, well, then it sounds like it's time we got to hurry. Let's do.
No, we don't got to hurry. It's great.
okay.
We could burn time. Oh, yeah. No, we should hurry. We actually do a lot of stuff in a given show. So
let's do Helga Cruciform.
What about
But here's the thing.
UCB&D?
Oh, yeah, right. UCB&D. Okay. Right.
David Alger's rules, the 10 of them. Its rule 8 is change. Improv is about character change. The characters in a scene must experience some type of change for the scene to be interesting. Characters need to go on journeys, be altered by revelations, experience the ramifications of their choices, and be moved by emotional moments. So I just want to say that, like, writing advice is a scene is worthless if, like, something doesn't fundamentally change the nature of everything's happening. So, like, if someone goes to work and, like, he's just hanging out, like, it's kind of shitty. But if he goes to work and then loses his job, it's all like, oh, I just saw something fundamental change about his life and it's going to alter the course of events going forward. If you have a bunch of scenes that don't do stuff like that, it's not good.
Yeah, you start to wonder why you're watching it.
Right. And I think dungeon rooms in a dungeon can be kind of like that in that they're just not very consequential.
I think you're right. I've definitely designed dungeons that definitely had padding rooms.
Right, which is fine, but
I think partially it'll come from, like, you design your dungeon and you look down and you want it to look like a real place. So if you're designing a castle, you start being like, okay, well, and then where do they eat and where do these guards sleep and all that kind of stuff. But that can lead to you having to come up with something interesting to happen in every one of these rooms, which can be difficult.
Yeah. Also, just as I think an advice to, like, remember or something, you can think about change in terms of if things aren't really happening, like, try and think in terms of how can I enact a change in this scene. So like if they're in a tavern just kind of trying to chat people up and things aren't happening, be like, well, let's really shake things up. Maybe someone just shows up and punches them in the face, or maybe someone yells at them and says, like, I'm sick of you guys being in this bar. You got to get out. Like, you guys are just you're bothering all the patrons, just to shake things up and give them something to respond to. So I don't know. Does that about do it for UCB&D?
No, I think so. Yeah. I think we're done with this bit.
Hell yeah.
It was a good one.
We did it. Now we're Helga Cruciforming. Like
right.
you said, let's cut back to what you were doing.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to roll a die.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
We each are only going to come up with 3 names this time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to post a poll, and we're going to see who won.
Oh, no.
Okay. You first.
Hector Crucible.
Sergio Skinflint.
Ferromontes Lavrona.
Geld Wildback.
Lester O'Brien, the one true creed.
Regiflex, the nexus of all things.
Let us know who won. Use the hashtag Cursive Scary.
I hate this hashtag.
Still probably no one has used it other than the one person who hopefully by now he's deleted his tweet.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's probably what happened.
I think that would be nice. Well, do you want to move on to a question of some sort?
Yeah, you know what? I would like you to read the question this time.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
well, I'm not even prepared for such things.
I always have to read the question, and then
I have to clean up my drawers.
All right, what do you got? Yeah, there's still just that one tweet with Cursive Scary.
Thank God.
Like a week ago.
Who sent that? You want to read that tweet?
The Jack Schema on Twitter said, to us, it was an Cursive Scary, spreading those positive vibes.
Okay. Well,
that could mean any number of things because you kept throwing that fucking hashtag around.
And honestly, I don't think that applies to any of them. I think that might just be something else. But we appreciate using the hashtag. We're trying to get it off the ground to prove that we can move units, baby, which we haven't proved that at all.
I think we should claim let's claim like, I don't know, what, 30 under 30. Let's claim that one.
Let's claim a mulligan, I think. You know, try again. No, I don't know. Nathan Van Woudenberg says, this pertains to players more than GMs, but here goes. Sometimes my play group will be stuck in a situation, and I as a person will come up with the idea of something to try that would be incredibly out of character, or something that my character would never even have thought of. For example, my -2 intelligence modifier brute fighter coming up with a clever way to solve some complex puzzle. What should I do in these situations? Keep my mouth shut? Is it bad form for my characters for me to suggest actions to my other party members? I suppose that's like out of character. Yeah, thank you. That's the question. I wanted to do this one just because I have this question all the time as a player.
Yeah.
I usually only play high intelligence characters just so I don't have to worry about it.
Really?
Yeah. Which is stupid. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair.
What do you think?
It's tricky because really what we're talking about is two different play styles.
Mm-hmm.
There's role. I mean, it's that thing in the player's handbook or the DMG that's like, here are the different kinds of players, or here are the different things that people are getting out of playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like to role play, and some people like to solve puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're role playing as somebody who's bad at puzzles, and you really want to role play accurately, I get that this is difficult. I don't know.
But then there is a distinction between intelligence and being good at puzzles, you know, like definitely people who are foolish or dumb can probably not necessarily like a crazy Rubik's Cube or something, but like be able to like have a clever plan. Certainly.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially in Dungeons and Dragons, you can make an argument that like intelligence specifically applies to like, I mean, it has a direct link to like these specific skill checks, right? Like that's what it's really about. And like a general like, oh, you know, how you do against different types of damage or whatever. There's like, you know, if you're casting spells, you know, how much can you spike your thetans or whatever and make those fireballs really pop. But I think if your character is someone who is a professional dungeon explorer, you could definitely make the argument that they are familiar with traps and puzzles and that kind of thing.
So I don't know what edition it's from. I want to say 3rd, maybe 4th, but there used to be an entry that you'd see in a lot of monster manual entries, which is like, such and such monster possesses a certain sort of low cunning, which means they can be very sneaky, even though they have like a 5 intelligence score or some shit like that. And like what I always interpreted that to mean is in terms of being strategic, they can be very smart, but at the end of the day, they have a 5 intelligence score. They're not going to talk to you. They're not going to be able to bargain, you know, and you can easily charm monster or something on them with the rules. But they aren't going to pull punches in terms of being able to ambush and set traps and stuff. And I feel like, I don't know, that to me indicates that like you can at least have some sort of justification for having like cool plans and combat, but then abstract puzzles and stuff, I don't know. But what about even just metagame, like telling people like as a player, like, hey, I think this is the solution, if the rest of your party is just struggling with the puzzle? Like,
yeah, I don't enforce no table talk because I think that's joyless. Like, I think let people get as into it as they want to.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can definitely like take a step back and be like, well, yeah, you just figure it out. Especially once I feel like there's a point in trying to solve puzzles, and if there's a really difficult puzzle that everybody is kind of stuck on, there's the point where you kind of drop being in character because you get frustrated.
You get real mad.
You get frustrated like 10 minutes into, putting the torch into the wrong thing. You stop wanting to be like, talking.
Kaloo-kalay, what dost over that hill of my mind palace? Is that a memory of a solution yon?
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. Like you're well, as a dungeon lord, I have discerned that this goblin's tooth fits perfectly into the... Oh, shit, that's not it, is it?
Okay,
well.
So this makes me want to get like 4 people together to do an escape room and just talk in like the worst Shakespearean accents as like a rule.
LARPing an escape room sounds really fun.
Yeah,
and it's like that's the only lose condition is if you break character.
Yeah, I have this. Let me tell you this idea: escape room Airbnb. You go in this Airbnb, and like in the closet, there's just like this door in the closet, and it's locked, and it has like a thing. And then it's like an escape room with like puzzles and stuff. And then you open the grate and it's just like a thing. And then it's not like a room and stuff, but it like eventually like opens up a safe and there's like candy or something in the safe. And it's like, thanks for staying at the Airbnb. Give me 5 stars.
It's the key to turn on the air conditioning.
Oh yeah. This is the HBO password.
It's the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Do you prove your mettle in a battle of wits before the internet you can shit?
I have 3 legs in the evening. It just seems like a fun concept because it's like, I don't know, technology is finally the point where you can just do little magnetic based circuit board bullshits or whatever, and it could be fun. And I don't know, it seems like it would be the kind of gimmick that someone would make a stupid video about that goes on Twitter or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody posted about it. And they're like, oh, this is a escape room. They sound really stupid.
I like that, though.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this, Mickey. The door. Oh God, that reminds me.
I want to watch Goofy's fucking YouTube stream.
I am struggling through Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance because I need to finish it before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, and I'd never played it. And
what is that? I don't know what that is.
It's the last one before Kingdom Hearts 3.
What is the last one? These are offshoot games. Are they similar to the main games?
No, they're main game. Like,
that's a main game.
It has them. It happens between the second and third games, and it features the main characters, and it leads directly into the plot of the third one.
Right, plot, but it's not the same mechanics, is it?
They're all pretty much. It's a lot of the same mechanics. Yeah.
Oh,
but it was on the 3DS, I guess.
Right. No, I mean, if it's a full game, I mean, the 3DS specifically did that a lot.
I'm just kind of trying to burn through it, and I only have a couple of weeks, and that is probably making it even less fun than it normally would be. It's also like when handheld games get adapted to the console, there's like this weird uncanny valley feel because everything is designed for like just a different size screen.
Sure,
so there's just like things are a lot more empty. The way that you move through the space is very different. They aren't expecting you to have as much control over the camera as you do.
Right.
So it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Like you can look around a lot more than you should be able to. You really see the seams. Things feel like weirdly empty.
Right. They got no computing power.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah, I'm just trying to burn through it, and I'm not enjoying myself. It's also like a lot of like very off-brand Disney worlds. It's like
the
Hunchback of Notre Dame world.
Oh, wow.
Pinocchio and Disney's Three Musketeers.
Man, I listened to a podcast that told the story of Pinocchio, like the real story of Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fucked. He gets like hung up like
oh, yeah. My buddy KC Green is doing a comic that is just that.
Him getting hung up.
No, it's the
12 issues on him getting hung up.
Well, it's like exactly the book.
Right.
And the book is nuts. Yeah, he's like
And
constantly trying
books.
to kill himself.
Yeah.
And at the end, he like
kills people or something.
Yeah, there's some murder. He like leaves his puppet body behind at the end.
Classic.
Like he doesn't turn into a real boy. Like the puppet is still there.
And then he really just possesses someone.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
And at the end, it ends like, what a silly dream to be a puppet.
Ugh.
That was
Ugh.
it. Yeah.
Well, it was
The
smart
end,
back
no moral.
then.
Yeah.
That was cutting edge tropes. Anyway, hopefully that riff on Pinocchio answers your question.
Yeah.
No, I think we covered that pretty much in depth.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Nathan Van Wooden.
All right. I need some. What do I need?
You need some looting
Oh yeah.
or some brooding.
I'm brooding.
And I know it's you going first this time because I edited the podcast like the other day, and I remember that happening that way.
Nice. Well,
Hell yeah.
I'm going first this time. Is
That's
that what
what
you're
I'm
saying?
saying.
That's what you're saying. I was bringing the card up. Okay, I have drawn. Okay, wait, hold on. I rolled a 1.
Oh, no. That's a societal monster? I'll double check.
Well, a humanoid monster, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. And I have drawn the Justice Reversed card. Huh. Okay. This suggests dishonesty, unaccountability, and unfairness. Justice has turned a blind eye, and something that would have normally been met with retribution and punishment has gone unnoticed. Is there a deeper meaning to the events that have happened? What actions and intentions have you been turning a blind eye to? Okay. So what are those things in Sigil in the city? There's the little Lady of Pain has those like weird little things.
Asses.
Dabs or doabs or something.
Oh, not drab. Oh, whatever. I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about. So there's
vaguely.
So like it's in Planescape, which is a setting, or Sigil, which is a setting. It's a D&D setting.
In 5e, Sigil is kind of like canon as part of the multiverse. It's instead of just like planes being kind of connected, they're basically only connected through Sigil now, which is a big universal city.
And they have not done the book for it yet.
Right.
And people are like, what are you going to do Sigil? It's like, well, obviously they're waiting until they have more planes to connect.
Those jerks.
No, I mean, it makes sense. Do Dark
I think
Sun?
they have all the planes. No, campaign settings aren't planes like that.
Yeah, but you can
Oh, definitely.
I mean, like mechanically, it's for that too,
Right.
because they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
But, so like in the city, and I guess another example would be like Keepers from Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
They're like these like insect like things that live in the city in Mass Effect, that live on the Citadel in Mass Effect and like maintain it. I have my idea here is that it's a race that is committed to the idea of bureaucratic mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And they like what I'm envisioning is like a big like bureaucracy building, like the equivalent of like the IRS building. You know, something like a Terry Gilliam, Brazil, big fucking building, and it is just populated by these little monsters. I'd say like probably four arms, and like stumpy little legs, and then like long arms, and a green smear where their eyes should be, and mean little mouths. And they just screw up things all day. Like the idea is that they're supposed to be like, it's supposed to be running on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's supposed to be like this bureaucratic building that is like self-sustaining.
Right.
But whatever, like maybe someone cast a spell or created a race to like manage the bureaucracy of this kingdom. And a lot of power was vested in that. Mm-hmm. And it worked really well at first, maybe even for like hundreds of years, to the point that it just ran everything. And then whatever spell was creating these things has like slowly fucked up. So now this kingdom is completely mismanaged. But
right.
nobody, because there's no oversight and because there's no, like, people don't get involved in civics, nobody has any idea how to fix this, and there's nobody to, like, have a revolution against. It's just like, oh, we didn't get the grain we were supposed to get. We got half the grain we were supposed to get, and a lot of carrots and horse meat. And so people just, like, people have gradually gotten used to this system breaking down, but it's not broken down enough to, like, where people are dying a lot. It's just kind of getting shittier gradually. And so people are, there's nothing to have a revolution against.
Right.
People are just like, oh, bureaucrats, you know how it is.
Right. They're like, you can't vote for anybody.
I think they're Bureaucrabs. And yeah, they're like, I just decided this. They also have shells.
And they run just the worst bureaucracy.
Yeah, Bureaucrabcy.
But not bureaucracies, just this one.
It's one, but like it's like, because it worked really well, they kept getting assigned more and more. And now it has like sort of started to fall apart. They're Bureaucrabs.
It's become this huge towering monstrosity. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bureaucrabs. That's a brute fable fit for a loot table.
Yeah. Somebody you lead a campaign. You're like, we're going to take down the chief the head bureaucrat. And it's like, there isn't one. It's like, there's no, it's not a hierarchy.
It turns out you could just put a big glass dome over the building, and that's just hire a king or something.
Yeah, like that's the solution, I guess. This is very
it takes a long time to figure that out, and no one would think of it because like no one's like, yeah, well, it's just the government. The government, they live in the government building. It's the government. You don't know it. There's the fool's work. We do real things, and then it's like, you got to talk to this guy. Oh, I lost it. You got to go back up here. And it's like, you know what? This is all vestigial. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor.
I think it's cool.
It definitely emerged as I was talking about it. I feel good.
We're finding it in the room.
Hell yeah.
On the day. That's what it's all about. And that's what the fun of Imaginatron Nation is.
So why don't you roll it down?
I'm a roll my dice. I got a 2, which is a monster-ass monster.
Oh, okay. Well, you have drawn, the 6 of Pentacles.
Oh, no.
Charity, generosity, and sharing. Compassion and understanding breeds generosity, sharing, and charity. One gives away the fruits of one's labors with the understanding that the situation of having the upper hand can be reversed at any moment.
Okay. So this is a sentient plant. It's like, it looks like, I don't know. You ever see these like fruit trees that are like in a big pot so that they kind of are like miniature looking trees? They have So it kind of looks like that, except it has 5 to 6 kind of like root tentacles that it kind of slips along on. And it'll burrow itself in your backyard and it'll feed on your dreams and it'll grow fruits made out of your dreams. And when it grows the whole fruits, it'll leave the fruits on your doorstep and skitter away. And they're really delicious fruits, and they make it so you're kind of mentally activated if you eat them. And I
like it. Do you remember your dreams, or do you not remember your dreams while this thing is?
You don't, and it actually has kind of like a negative effect. It affects your rest to an extent. Like it kind of drains you, but not like it's like, oh my God, this is going to kill me, because they're not like evil pests or anything. It's just kind of like a muted, drains the color and maybe some of it just kind of hazes them out a bit.
It's like you had like a bad night's sleep. But there's the payoff, which is this fruit.
Right. And then that's considered like a blessing. And a lot of people might not even know that it comes from this fruit and think it's like fairy fruit or something. But yeah, it's usually a good omen. And it's a good omen because if you eat it, like you become activated and you can like get success, because then success is how the seeds take root. The seeds won't take root unless like good things come of eating the fruit. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever.
I like it.
Me too, but it's over now. No, we should name it. Bush, hedge, luck, good, happy, fortune.
What about just the dream tree?
Dream tree.
Or Dreamfruit? Maybe I like Dreamfruit.
The Dreamfruit.
Yeah, and then it's like the Dreamfruit tree.
The Dreamfruit tree. Have you ever heard of the Dreamfruit tree? There it is. Yeah. Great. Dreamfruit tree. We did it and we done it, and that means we got to use it. The bathroom, because it's time for a break.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
No, but we do have to go to a break. Yeah.
All right.
Just in terms of like the breakdown of the show. If that's, I mean, it's not a big deal.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Bye.
Spencer, has this ever happened to you?
No. Well, wait, I guess. Well, what?
You go to the refrigerator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
You're expecting just a delicious Diet Cola.
I always
Diet
am.
Coke from the Coca-Cola
A
company.
Coca-Cola.
And then you open their fridge, and what's in there? It's just a bunch of Pepsis.
What about Mountain Dews?
Oh, they're there too.
Ugh.
So, and maybe you're at a friend's house and you want some ketchup for your French fries.
Mm-hmm.
But what do they have? They got crappy off-brand knockoff Kroger ketchup that you hate.
Whoa.
It's not that sweet Heinz number 57.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all you got to do is call the brand wizard.
The brand wizard?
The brand wizard.
The brand wizard?
The brand wizard can change any product into a similar product of a different, perhaps preferable brand.
How does that work?
He comes to your home and casts a spell, and all of a sudden, your RC colas become sweet, syrupy Coca-Cola. Your Rite Aid brand adhesive strips become familiar Band-Aids.
The brand wizard came to my house and turned my generic copy machine into a Xerox.
Now it's a Xerox.
And what else did he do?
He turned my crappy shoes into fancy Louboutins.
And my box of tissues into Kleenex brand tissues.
The brand wizard.
Oh, man. That's a professional I want to have in my Rolodex.
He'll come to your home and improve.
You hold your phone up and activate the Shazam app now.
Brand wizard.
Bleep blorp.
Also, if maybe you're doing some set design and are you going to have to put that cold drink sign on the side of the soda machine in the hall? No.
Oh, man.
He can do that thing also.
He's an instant product Greeker?
Yes.
Wow.
He's fantastic.
They call that Greeking labels for some reason.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's surely not problematic and will never be.
Let's hustle away from this conversational detour.
Use the promo code Goblin Flakes.
Goblin Flakes.
For
not hobgoblin wheels.
Yeah, and certainly not Orc brand loaf. Nope. Okay. That was a bad attempt. Gonna cut it out.
I'm just watching you swing.
Brand
the
wizard.
crows peck at your eyes. Hang on the gibbet of your own attempt to joke along.
Schedule a consultation today. And we're back.
I sure did enjoy that suite of products.
As did I. And as always, we use these products and we vouch for them 100%. I met the brand wizard and he's a great guy. He's just trying to make it by and he's definitely not evil. And I definitely did not sense his alignment.
Yes. He changed my brand. This is me now.
Oh, no.
He can also change your social media presence.
Yeah, he changes your personal brand, but usually just into the brand wizard.
I'm big into QAnon now. And...
Oh, no.
And The Bachelor.
Oh, okay. Well,
Follow me for Bachelor tweets.
You win some, you lose some, I guess, you know.
Pizzagate is real.
Well, this still seems like a net win. As a Pizzagate truther myself.
And you always have been.
I'm just saying, there's got to be a basement. just because they
That's
haven't.
where he lives. Let's go to a question.
Yeah, let's go to a question. Oh, this is another question that I really enjoyed. It's from G. Brown. Having never played D&D but really interested in playing, I bought the player's handbook. My 5-year-old son latched onto it and asked a million questions. He wanted to make a character, and we did, but is now super excited to play. Help, what do I do now? I have no experience playing. Should we play a junior version or with his character? Did we answer this one before?
No, this is delightful.
Yeah, no, I love this.
Here's what you got to do. You got to buy a second book, and that book is the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should make a little junior adventure for this kid.
Yeah, so I would read the player's handbook, but yeah, definitely get the DM's guide. Maybe even the adventures. The starter kit would be good because that
starter kit would be real good.
I think if you got the starter kit, you could run it without any rolls.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And just kind of execute the idea. You want to yes and the kid a lot. If you're like, oh, you go into a dungeon and he's like, and there's a spider on the ceiling, just roll with it.
That'd be good here because there's a spider.
Right.
In this one.
In our life. Oh, no, in that module.
The black spider.
Oh, no. But yeah, so that's my thing is just make it more improv-y because kids play pretend and our role-playing is just playing pretend. You can start to add elements depending on your guys' comfort level, but no need to do that off the bat. You have the player sheet and you can just kind of play off of that. When we first started in like 4th grade, that's basically what we did. We made character sheets, certainly not adhering to the rules, and we just basically pointed at them and kind of debated how they worked while we played. So, you're just doing basically that, but with a kid. I think it'll be fun. I mean, maybe you get another, who knows? You could just play with your kid.
Yeah, this sounds like fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Because you've basically got a loose, D&D is, you can use as many or as few as the rules as you want. And the basic structure of the story will work.
Right. And my first RPG forays were essentially freeform RPG. So, and, we never had a problem with that. No one ever said boo. Everyone had fun. It's, you gain shame as you age up. Before you have it, you don't need it.
Shame is like a chrysalis that you spit and you smear it all over yourself, your own shit and spit. And then you're in there for a while and then you're like, ugh, this sucks. And you leave.
Or you choke to death.
And you're a beautiful butterfly. Or you're killed by a bird who found you. This sounds amazing. Do this with your kid and let us know how it goes.
I really want to know. I mean, this is a saga. You should do a podcast about that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how I don't know. If you live in LA, you'll probably fine with this. Yeah. You may have the most successful podcast in the world in a couple of months.
I always wanted to do Harmon Quest with kids, just as me DMing just random kids.
Harmon
and just
Quest babies.
Yeah, just kind of I don't know, to just be kind of a little bit more oh, you're in a tavern and a guy's like, hey, I got a magical quest for you. You want to get this dragon horn? Or, just very basic stuff. But you could really have fun with the tropes in that and just play around.
But also, kids, they play Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's probably, I don't know what that is really, but
I just mean in terms of you wouldn't have to get really crazy. You could just be oh, there's a castle. And they're like, oh, I killed a king. And it's now you're the king of the castle. I don't know, I don't know. That sounds a bit too improv-y, but
that sounds it sounds pretty bare bones, but I like this zoomed in narrative.
Right. Just more kids driving the narrative, seeing what that is. And that's what's for sale for the show is a bunch of kids fucking around, watch them go nuts.
Yeah. This is the basic premise of a lot of, basically you're going to have a great time. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Please do. Please have a great time.
Oh, we were so helpful. I think we have time for another question this time.
Oh yeah, we do.
What do you got?
Oh no, I don't.
Your laptop is closed.
It's it's at 4%, which I don't know if you guys have Macs or whatever, but 4% is a very treacherous time because sometimes it just dies at anything under 5%. And sometimes it goes all the way down to 1 dutifully. Benham Rishi says, my players like it when their characters get stoned when they get stoned. I've legalized it in my game world, but what adverse effects on checks, saves, and attributes do you recommend? It's just an interesting question to me because I like to imagine weed being illegal in like the D&D world, and cops
they're
rolling
okay
up and
with like lethal spells and like like
they like flick, they twist the knob on their spotlight lantern. It's like he's got 6 whole plants up in here. This is a huge bust.
It's like you got like a weed dryad.
That's awesome. Oh boy. You have like hydroponics, just like with magic floating water and stuff. Like the plants are just like growing in floating bubbles of water.
Jesus, you know, we just had to have described like so many deviant art.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
So many people's binders in the late 90s and definitely a few vans.
I love saving Weed Sonic deviant art onto my computer. When I don't know. This is just a brain connection. I always had the idea that it would be cool to have a warlock necromancer kind of type who had a bong that was also a mace, and he used the bong to smoke the souls of his enemies.
I think you know, what's a shame is that I think they already have the script for that new Jay and Silent Bob movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think, boy, I don't like that.
Yeah, man.
Boy, I hate them.
He's like a crazy skeleton lord, and he's like, I'm heavy metal the movie. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna crack the heads of an enemy army. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, like in a music video in the 80s.
Yeah. And he bongs them on the head.
He bongs them on the head, and then he bongs them on the soul.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I think what do they got? What are our skill checks? Advantages, disadvantages? I definitely think you should have a disadvantage on like a history checks.
Right.
Maybe an advantage on religion checks.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good, just right there. That's not a lot.
I think that you should get disadvantage on dexterity rolls.
Advantage on charisma. Advantage on charisma with other people who are high. Disadvantage on charisma with people who are not.
Yeah, and I think probably disadvantage on insight.
Yeah. But maybe advantage on perception because you're paranoid.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
You're like,
fine.
is that a dog? Is that a dog or is that the devil?
Yeah. So
and it's a world where maybe it is the devil.
Every time you redose within a 4-hour period, you got to roll a descending size dice, so 20 and then 12, 10, 8, etc. And if you roll a 1, you pass out.
Yeah, that's good. Or maybe if you roll under a 3.
Yeah, you pass out over the next like 10 minutes or something, and then you stay passed out for 5 to an hour.
Anyway, this is delightful. This is fun. This is a fun thing. There are a lot of fun questions.
Yeah,
this week. Good. You should pick the questions for a while.
This is just kind of like a grab bag kind of. These were some of the oldest questions I think we had in the chamber.
Oh shit! Well, I hope you had fun playing D&D with your kid.
Yeah,
5 months ago.
Let's say, I mean, this advice is more applicable for a 6-year-old. So I'm sure
eventually, eventually this problem is going to solve itself.
Oh yeah. But yeah. What about like? You got to roll 100% die every time you say anything. Otherwise, you lose your train of thought.
That's good.
Because I always feel like that happens the most with weed.
That's
get.
I don't do that. I instead start saying a thing and like describe a thing that happened at length, or like describe the entire plot of an episode of a television program that I think that is like somewhat germane to what somebody was saying.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, I can contribute to this conversation.
Oh yeah.
So in this episode of Deep Space Nine, Quark is he's got a real problem. There's a Klingon in the Holosuite who won't stop reenacting this battle, and he says if Quark turns off the Holosuite, he's gonna kill him.
Oh,
so he goes to get Odo, and Odo's like, no man, I got this. Don't worry. He tells the guy, and the guy Klingon, he turns it off. And the Klingon comes out all angry, and he's like, did you turn off the thing? And he's like, and then he's all drunk, and Odo's like, oh, hey, man, they're celebrating your victory downstairs. And the guy's like, great. And so he goes downstairs, and he's done.
Oh, man, what a clever solution.
Yeah, it was. It was just a really good scene.
He really just redirected his energy.
The episode was packed of blood. There was a lot of Klingons.
Oh, I thought you meant it was packed with blood. It was like a blood-filled episode.
No, like a blood pact.
I gotcha.
It was cool because there were 3 Klingons on it, and I'm not normally super into Klingons, but all of them had been villains of individual episodes in the original series, so they were all like, it was the original actors, so they were all like in their 70s.
Sure.
And it was pretty cool. Anyway.
That sounds fun.
It was fun.
That sounds like
the thing I said I do when I'm high.
It sounds like the kind of thing that would happen in Deep Space 9.
It happened 8 times, and then it happened again.
You know what else will happen the 9th time? Animals.
Yeah.
What animal should we do? We should call it Lunchables, I think.
Nah, man. We shouldn't.
You like those fake cheeses?
No.
Sometimes I just take a bite out of the whole cube of cheese without taking apart the layers.
Yeah, it's like a Kit Kat.
Oh, yeah. I love doing that to Kit Kats. It makes them taste better.
Displacer beasts.
Displacer beasts. They look like panthers. Blue panthers with 2 tentacles reaching out of their shoulder blades that you can lash you with. They're called displacer beasts because they have the displacement effect, which makes them harder to hit.
The idea is that you're seeing one, but you might not be seeing it. You might actually be seeing the after image while the regular one's invisible. And the way this plays out is you always have disadvantage.
Yeah, in older versions, it was like you had a 20% mischance, but it's like,
this thing was made almost like designed for the advantage mechanic, really.
Yeah, it kind of refracts its visual appearance into an area, so it's like anyone. Yeah. Anyway, do its tentacles have poison or anything, or do they just do damage?
I think they just do damage.
So they're like panthers.
But also can't they talk?
Probably, yeah.
Well, ours can.
Yeah, a lot of magical monsters like that can talk, like blink dogs can talk.
Okay, I got an idea.
All right.
Okay. They're displacer beasts. It's basically so it's a population of them in an area. And people have been hunting them for their pelts, but they've noticed that as they've been hunting them, the population has dwindled, they've been getting stronger, but it turns out that they're also harder to hit. So all of these displacer beasts are just the same. It's just like the same thing refracted over like hundreds of different things. Like it was a thing that got split. Like its selfhood got split into all these different things. So as they're dying, like this huge amount of power is getting distributed over a smaller number, and they're getting smarter, and maybe even they start hunting each other because now shit
wait,
it's I just realized,
oh no,
this is Jet Li's The One. The movie
boy.
The One, starring Jet Li, I think is what this is.
What if they're replacer beasts?
Yeah.
And when things disappear or die, they appear to replace them. And it's a bad replacement because they are monsters.
Because it's a tentacled panther.
Yes.
So like if your boss dies,
right?
And you're like, oh, my boss died. This kind of sucks, I guess. But then and you're already a little bit bummed out because maybe he was a pretty good guy, and you go into work and at his desk, like wearing one of his shirts, but it's kind of ripped and like screaming at you as this displacer beast.
Yeah, and then you growl knowingly.
Because you're a replacer beast.
Replacer beast.
You're also a replacer beast.
My friend Ivan, who I've talked about once, he had this idea, this Steve Hazard character that was based on, I think, Steve Haggard, the character from Final Fight or some shit.
The mayor.
Yeah, the mayor. And it was like he was the main character. And in the beginning of the movies, he would always like get out of bed that he was having like probably hot sex in or something. And he'd get out of bed and he'd realize that enemies were after him. And he'd, for instance, pull 2 ninjas out from under the bed and just rip them in half. And then in the third movie, he's like, displacer beasts, and pulls 2 displacer beasts out from his bed and rips them in half. And it's just, I don't know, the idea that it's like you keep leveling up from like hitmen to ninjas to like assassins to displacer beasts.
They would be funny. The logical. I mean, that is how things work in the in universe in the game of Dungeons and Dragons. Is like, you don't. It's a little bit absurd that you run into things. I think it's good to throw in weaker stuff every now and then.
Yeah,
as you just to like maybe even stuff they'd fought before.
Oh yeah,
to really drive home. It's like, wow, you guys have gotten way stronger.
The Octopath Traveler method.
Ah, yes, yes. I definitely kept playing long enough to reach all of the characters and did not crap out.
The other day, because my roommate is playing now, and the other day I was thinking, I was like, oh, I bet Cohen probably stopped playing. I wonder how far he got.
The 7th.
Sure.
I got 7 characters.
See, that's the problem, is that it turns out every character has 4 chapters that are all like the other characters' 4 chapters. And so if you go in character order and get every character and then do everyone's chapter and everyone's chapter, you're essentially just doing the same steps of the same beats over and over. And so it's like, well, then it's just like playing 1/8 of a game, because then I'm just doing one character's path and going, okay, well, that was not a full game.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Don't get me wrong. I love the battle mechanics, but tedious.
Yeah. And like, that really is the thing, is like, I was sort of stuck in, it was like I watched 8 different pilots.
Right. Like that Haruhi season, where they do the same episode every time, except people wear different clothes.
It was an episode of an anime. It was a season and an anime where the same episode, line for line, shot for shot, happened 8 times in a row, and was implied to have happened, I think, like thousands of times.
Yeah, infinite times.
And the characters didn't know what was going on.
And then one of them had a slightly different 2 minutes towards the end
of the 8th one.
Yeah,
I think.
No, there was some very minor variations, but the first 5 were straight up there weren't. So it was rough.
But it wasn't like they just aired the show 5 times, right? Like they
it was that's the thing, is that if you put them next to each other, the timings were off. The way, like, for instance, anime has hair, so like the way their hair would dip and drop.
That notable thing of anime.
No,
hair.
In anime, hair kind of lusciously and visually kind of changes position to indicate, I don't know, emotional
But it's almost
moments.
like you would need to watch them side by side to see the differences, right?
To an extent, but then also they had, like, for instance, it was always like the New Year or something festival, and so they would always wear yukatas or whatever, and so they would wear different colored ones, and so that was pretty obvious because it was like a festival costume, and so that kind of and bathing suits were different, so like they underscored differences visually here or there, but they made it a point to then be all like, and we drew it all, and it's the same thing.
Good. You know what?
It's a commitment to the vision.
Don't do it in your game.
Yeah, that seems rough to do in a
like
game.
like I would say, there's a reason in Groundhog Day he knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So you're Steve Hazard, and you're having sex in your crazy bed, and then the ladies get hit with, or whoever get hit with darts, and they die, and you growl, "Replacer beast," because then they immediately explode into replacer beasts.
Yeah, this is good.
Anything that dies or disappears could be a displacer beast.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something?
I think either that or the thing that I said where they were refracted.
Yeah. No, sorry, I forgot that, because it sounded like you were bailing on that.
No, I just realized that wasn't, but it wasn't that I thought it was a bad idea. I just realized kind of it had been done.
So then let's explore that further, because they start to fight each other, the reflections. Why do they do that if they're reflections of this one thing?
Because... Okay, maybe
why do they do it in the movie?
Maybe they don't. Well, in the movie, it's a multiverse thing.
Oh,
and like
okay.
One of them is traveling between the multiverses, killing himself in all these different multiverses.
Oh shit!
Because it's like as yourself dies in other multiverses, you get like stronger.
Yeah, like Highlander.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. That's also like Rick and Morty, I guess. I
guess.
But so is it facets of one displacer beast then on the same plane that have been refracted and trying to like recapture its former power?
Yeah.
Okay. I always liked the idea of a displacer. Well, first of all, I like the idea of greater monsters. The idea that there's these archetypical monsters that are almost like gods, not just like dire or like paragon forms of the monsters, but just like
the alpha vampire.
Yeah, like exactly. Like obviously Harmon Quest had the Manticore, and that was just based on the idea that like Manticore to me is such a cool concept that like I there's Manticores, and in the season there's lesser Manticores. But then the idea that it's just like Manticore is such, there's like this archetypical god
like
Manticore or something.
Sphinx.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I just think that conceit is cool. So the idea of a displacer beast, which is this thing, and then being a displacer beast, it's refracted and diffracted and stuff. I think that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like this much more powerful
like
thing.
They're getting bigger too, and like
and smarter.
Maybe like the displacer effect starts to go away because maybe that is like, oh, that was a side effect of them being refracted. But it's like as the lenses of the prism narrow, you know, it's a narrower beam, and it's also a stronger beam, and it's not casting like halos.
Yeah,
and then it's a laser beam,
and maybe
it's the displacer behemoth.
And maybe they have more of a what do you call it? Like they have some sort of gravitational or reality bending effect or something that's like kind of the opposite inverse direction of that. That's
like things are drawn towards them.
Right. It's like if it was like a beam of light that got scattered into the thing, then we focus it back. It's gaining these new powers that got too scattered and diffuse.
I'm definitely picturing like it leaving like heavy, hyper defined footprints as it's walking. Like, and it's like you can see it's like. If you look at the footprint, you can see like the individual hairs of the impressed into the dirt,
crushed into the thing.
I like this, and it's like maybe as it's like walking through the forest, it's just like tearing limbs off of trees, like that it's just brushing
snapping,
against.
And the grass is flattening, and it might be hard to move, or you might reduce your movements, but who knows?
Like a gibbering mouther, it would have like you're drawn towards it, and like it's hard to move when you're around it, like it has its own gravity.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. That came together.
Displacer beasts.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ivan.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You can use them in your campaign if you would like, and I would, and I will. Thank you very much, Master Manual.
You're welcome.
Let me hit us up with a quick fail mail.
Oh, is this going to be that one?
Is this going to be that one? What does that mean?
Is it going to be the one with the guy or the ranger?
What?
Because we got one today.
Oh yeah, I think it might.
Yeah. I almost wanted to take this as advice, but yeah. Well, read it, and then I want to do something a little bit different this time.
Oh no!
But read the fail mail, and then I just want to have a quick note.
Well, let's hope it's the one you want it to be.
Okay.
Zalamar writes, so I was flipping through some of my old sheets the other day,
the one.
And I found an old fail. Friends fighter who ended up contracting mummy rot by failing literally every saving throw, and we almost never played with a cleric or anything in the party, so the rot got worse pretty quickly. We were like, okay, fine, just go to the apothecary in town and get a disease potion. He refused, and because he didn't want to pay any gold for something that he was so mad about. His friend didn't take it too well, and so in some combination of anger and amusement, he started to deliberately try to infect NPCs and enemies with mummy rot. Eventually, the DM leaned in because everyone we came into contact with had mummy rot in the separate towns, and they all started a mummy cult. At this point, one of us looked at his sheet, and he had scribbled mummy in most every field and all over everything on the sheet. The fighter ditched us and became a full mummy, Imhotep the shit out of us, and stole another party member's face, and only one of us escaped the country alive because it was just mummies everywhere. The campaign kind of ended with that, but in a later game, DM referenced a mummy kingdom, and we all lost our shit. Still have no idea why he did that, and I think it must have been because it was pretty funny.
No, this is great. This is not a fail. This is a success.
Well, I didn't know we had so many submitted today. But yeah, was there the Ranger one today?
Yeah. It's from, I think it's from Iron Behemoth.
Iron Behemoth. Is it an email?
Yeah, it's an email.
Oh, it's an email. Okay,
shit, sorry. Oh yeah, I can read it because I have my phone here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read this real quick. I liked that mummy thing a lot. That was really fun.
It's time for Fail Mail Take 2.
Okay, this is from the Iron Corpse. Sorry, not the Iron Behemoth. Okay, I'm DMing a game that is currently focused around infiltrating and destroying a goblinoid camp that resides within the confines of a massive and deadly forest teeming with dangerous fey creatures. The forest is known to shift and move, making standard forms of tracking all but useless and impressing on the group the need for a local guide. I provided one in a way that fit the story, a hobgoblin named Zold, and set the party on their way, but it wasn't even 2 minutes before the party's ranger decided his hunting skills were more than sufficient and took it upon himself to murder the guide before the group had even reached the forest perimeter. I could see the rest of the group's wariness for proceeding without the guide's knowledge, but the ranger convinced everyone to carry on and became the spearhead of their invading force. This became a spectacular fiasco almost immediately as the ranger couldn't stop rolling crit fails when attempting survival and nature checks. Barely any forward movement was gained within the forest, and soon their unstealthy fumblings drew the attention of a bloodthirsty band of redcaps. The feral dwarf-like creatures surrounded the party and proceeded to take the PCs out one by one, with no healing potions left to assist them. This went on until it was just an exhausted barbarian alongside a gnome wizard, both near death, and I thought they were both done for. If the wizard hadn't rolled a critical hit with a well-placed Eldritch Blast, I surely would have experienced my first TPK, and the next session would have started out with fresh character sheets, new stats, and a deeper appreciation for the dangerous world I've thrown them into. Never kill the guide until they've fulfilled their end of the bargain. This is the Iron Corpse. I will say that you have a character in your party who is a ranger, and putting them in a situation where they're like, the rangers can't do like a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're like, it's a difficult to navigate woods, and their character's ability, like main role-playing ability is their proficiency in navigating the woods. I don't necessarily think that they were wrong for trying to do that.
Sure. Well, it seems like the problem is he kept crit failing, which I mean, if it were me and I were doing it, I would probably just force it. But then if people can see it fail, you can't, it's a weird thing to be like, it just works.
This is actually a quick thing that I've been thinking about for a couple of days.
Oh, damn.
So like, I think not a lot of people, I think people have this idea that if you succeed, you succeed. And if you roll a fail, you fail. And I get that he got crit fails, but the thing is, sometimes when you fail a skill check, you can have them do the thing, but with a cost.
Right.
That it even says that in the DMG.
Yeah.
So like maybe they could have found their way through the woods, but also attracted the attention of these. Like he could have also found the way.
You went into a bee's nest.
Yeah, or something like that. But like, I feel like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's
it's just, you just like, you lose all your stuff and it takes 5 extra days and you drink all your water and now you're sick, but you make it there, or you get there and you get ambushed it's like, whatever. You're making it happen.
It's like if there's like I feel like if you put this if you put this to a different character class and it's like, it's a locked door and you have a rogue in the party. And then somebody comes in and they're like, no, I'm Lockpicky McGee, idiot. I'm here to unlock all the doors.
Right.
Is like, I think if my character was a thief, I would be pretty frustrated by that.
Yeah.
Or it's like if you're like, oh, an ancient library and like your wizard's there and they're, they've got like history and it's, and then a character, History Bob comes down the pike and he's like, you idiot, you shouldn't be looking that up. That's my job. It's like, you basically created an NPC whose job was to make one of the players feel superfluous.
Right. But to the extent that there's situations that need guides, like that's a typical NPC role, is it's like, here's the swamp and I'm the guy that knows the swamp crits. And it's just about like having a guy. But then it's like you can lean away from them being guides maybe and just like say, oh yeah, he knows when the big monsters come out or something. Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think like if you have a ranger in the party, I don't know that you necessarily need to create guide NPCs.
Well, I don't know why you'd question his need for having a guide NPC. Like if there's any reason to believe that he didn't need it, that's one thing. But maybe he had it for a reason that he didn't tell us.
That's fair. That's fair. It seems like he created a difficult to navigate woods and also created a character instead of letting the player whose character was based around navigating woods, he created an NPC to know.
Which I think is truly a bigger problem with rangers than almost any other class. Because what can they do? Have a pet?
If it were any other,
anybody can have a pet.
They can. They've specifically said that on the on the Wizards Twitter. It's like, I'm sorry if I do think this is a very good fail mail.
Yeah.
It really gets to the problem, which is like, if you have a character who is mechanically based, who's like role play based on like one thing.
Sure.
It's let them do it.
Yeah, I agree. But letting them do it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I expect this character will be murdered because of redundancy. Like, I think that's a leap. That's a leap you can now plan for and maybe think about it, but I get why someone might not make that leap.
Or maybe don't make the NPC a hobgoblin.
Right.
It's like, hey, you can't do that thing you do. I'll show you the way.
Yeah, that's a good... Be careful with using monsters. People usually like mistreating monstrous characters and stuff more than you'd expect. So.
Yeah, it almost seems like you're giving them license to do so.
Right, so that can be an unintentional signal you're sending.
Yeah, you might be telegraphing a betrayal without meaning to.
Right. That happened. I had a game where everyone betrayed us. So I was like, hey, what if we just kill everyone we meet? And that ended up working, but...
Was that the old people?
Yeah, the old people.
Is this where you got your prejudice against the elderly?
No, that was way before.
Okay.
Back in child's ages. Anyway, that about does it for my prejudices.
Looks like we booked it again.
Fail mail. Send us your fails. mastermanualpod@gmail.com. Send us your questions. Mastermanualpod, all the socials, Discord.
Join the Discord.
What else? Nothing else.
We should do a sticky post on the Reddit with a link to the Discord.
Oh, yeah. We can do that. Oh, yeah.
We should definitely...
You can't even stop us.
I'll stick you a tweet with a link to the Reddit.
Right.
And the link to the Discord.
We'll stick it. You'll lick it.
We'll do it. Looks like we booked it again, he said for the second time.
Master Manually is awesome.
Goodbye.
No one had ever said before.
Goodbye.